But I definitely think that CJ Stroud is in the conversation. You're looking at probably the best performance this weekend in college football, unless somebody goes ballistic this afternoon or this evening. I don't know. The Heisman race is really exciting, but I do think you have to, from OSU, I think you have to give CJ Stroud and one of the wide receivers some consideration. It depends on what the statistics are for the wide receivers once the Big Ten championship happens. But any one of those three wide receivers, you're most likely you're looking at probably Olave or Wilson. I don't know about Smith and Jigba yet, but CJ Stroud and Olave or Wilson is potentially a finalist for the Heisman. Maybe. I don't think the receivers are finalists, but I think CJ Stroud can get there. I'll grow a mullet if Ewers won the national championship. Good luck with that. Damn, out of all the QBs we had who didn't win the Heisman and the kid, can we take Walker out of the Heisman talk? Yeah, we probably can. I think Kenneth Walker's out of the Heisman conversation, I would say. I mean, let's see what the Heisman odds are now. My guess is this is before today's games. Let's see. So this is according to Vegas Insider. That was posted in okay, odds win the Heisman. When was this posted? This was updated on Tuesday. So pre this week, Vegas Insider's top 3 Heisman finalists from 1 to 3 are Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and Kenneth Walker. Matt Corral and Kenny Pickett round out the top 5. Travion Henderson is within the top 10. No Ohio State wide receiver is within those top odds. But Vegas Insider has Bryce Young as the favorite, which I don't really get. I need to see his stats. Bryce Young's a good player, but is he really the best player in college football this year? Maybe. Notre Dame is wiping the floor with Georgia Tech. Feels bad. Let's see Bryce Young's statistics. Let's see what Bryce Young's been up to this year. Fair play, 3,000 passing yards, 33 touchdowns to 3 picks. He's got a 71 completion percentage. What's his rushing yards? He's not a runner, he's a thrower. 3,000 passing yards for 33 touchdowns for Bryce Young. Where's CJ Stroud? I'm not sure if the statistics are going to be added up from today's game too on ESPN, but let's see. So the statistics that ESPN has is CJ Stroud having 3,000 passing yards for 30 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. I'm not sure if that adds in the Michigan State game. If it doesn't add in the Michigan State game, then he's got like 3,400 passing yards and 36 touchdown passes. So it's pretty close. It might be between CJ Stroud and Bryce Young. This is why I hate sports gambling, how easy it would be to pay MSU corners to slow down a bit. They know they're not getting drafted. It looked that bad to me. Yeah, I don't gamble. It's too risky. I'm also just not good at predictions. That was before this game? Okay, it was before this game. Stats don't matter if they don't beat Georgia? No, of course. From a Heisman perspective, stats matter. From a team winning perspective, no, stats are not the full tale, of course. Walker, 6 carries, 25. What a Heisman performance. Yeah, so if those stats aren't including today's game, then CJ Stroud has 3,400 passing yards and 36 touchdown passes. That is very impressive. And we'll see what Bryce Young does today. But if Bryce Young doesn't go off, then CJ Stroud might be the Heisman favorite. It's very possible. That'd be nuts if CJ Stroud were to win the Heisman this year. Everybody thought, he's a good quarterback. He's got a lot of talent. It's more of a preparation sort of thing for this season. Yeah, Ohio State is going to be contending for a national championship this year, but maybe CJ Stroud learns a little bit. And that's kind of what the thought process was through the first 3 weeks. You saw him struggling a little bit. You saw him being a little indecisive, wasn't making all his throws. And you see the improvements he's made, and you have to give him credit, a ton of credit. And the fact that he is now in the conversation, maybe to win the Heisman Trophy, unbelievable. What a story that would be. Of course, an OSU player hasn't won the Heisman since Troy Smith. So it would be quite a celebration for the Buckeyes if CJ Stroud were to win the Heisman this year. Yeah, CJ's getting better. The team is getting better. Everything is just coming up Millhouse for the Ohio State Buckeyes right now. And I personally think they should be ahead of Oregon just because of the way they performed. We'll see, though. If Oregon were to dismantle Utah, then fine. Keep Oregon ahead of OSU if you want. but OSU's better than Oregon right now. The way those two teams are playing currently, Ohio State is a much better football team right now than Oregon. I think OSU's a better football team than Alabama. So I still don't think we've seen the best of CJ yet either. Oh, yeah, for sure. Imagine he wins the Heisman this year and then he gets better next year, wins the Heisman again, a la Archie Griffin. Common Core disappointed. I'm concerned we don't have a good backup. Again, I don't think it's worthwhile judging a backup QB coming into a game where they're up by 40 points or something. Foot off the gas a little bit, put him in a high pressure situation and see kind of what he does. But I understand the other argument of, well, we saw Cardell step in a high pressure situation after having not played the whole season, and he obviously performed. So I get the concern that McCord might not be the decent backup quarterback because he didn't play that well today, but this was a game where Ohio State didn't need to try in the second half. They got everything out in the first half, and then the second half was just don't get injured. Got to switch watching Arkansas. All right, Roger. Enjoy watching the game. Enjoy the game. We'll see if the Razorbacks can come away with the win. That would be huge. If the Razorbacks beat Alabama, that's huge not just for OSU, that's huge for Cincinnati, because then that puts Cincinnati in the conversation. But it would be interesting if we end up with a playoff that Ohio State is forced to play Georgia in the semi instead of the final. If Ohio State's 4th and Georgia's 1, or 2 and 3, of course. So, because I think it would be fair to say that most people would probably want a Georgia-Ohio State national championship. The best offense against the best defense. I think it's natural that people would want to see a game like that for all the marbles for the title, rather than it be a semifinal. Because there could be a point in any sports tournament where you see a final caliber match happening in an earlier round of a knockout. Like when you see in March Madness, like 2 number 1 seeds playing in a semi, and then the other Final Four semifinal is between like an 8 seed and an 11 seed. And you're like, well, this 1v1 really should have been the championship. This is kind of the championship per se. If OSU wins out, they will be a 2 or 3. If Oregon wins out, they will be a 2 or 3. Think if Bama loses in the SEC, hopefully they can have that rematch. Hopefully. If that path is what happens, Troy, assuming everything just keeps going as planned, then the playoff will be, assuming Bama loses to Georgia, I'd say they would put Georgia 1, Oregon 2, OSU 3, Bama 4. Unless Bama got dismantled. But even if they do get dismantled, I think they still put a 2-loss Alabama team in over an undefeated Cincinnati, sadly. You just know the committee, loves Alabama. You know that they appreciate how good they are. You know they appreciate everything they've done and whatever. Even though they lost to Texas A&M earlier in the season, and Texas A&M 7-3, they're just not going to give any respect to Cincinnati. And if I'm a Cincinnati fan and I see Alabama have 2 losses by the end of the year and still get in the playoff as a 4 seed, setting up a Bama-Georgia semifinal, I'd be fuming after everything Cincinnati's done this year. But Cincinnati could just lose in the next 3 weeks, and that's it. Their season's over.